Hello and welcome to my long anticipated gold collection stash dive. This is the gold collection by Dimensions and this is my collection. So let's talk about all of my pieces that I have. I do have quite a few, so this might be a long video. There will be some pauses for me to drink water and maybe also to have entire days without filming. We'll see how long this takes. This is the first kit I'd like to talk about. This is Thunder Ridge. It is a gorgeous kit designed by Cummings and it's from 1997. It's these 3 horses on a plane in the storm and it's just gorgeous. Anyone who watches my channel knows that I love stitching animals. Here we have the threads and the fabric. Now, unfortunately, this didn't arrive for many months after I bought it, and it didn't come with a chart. So I'm still on the lookout for this chart. So if you have this chart for sale, or if you see this on sale on eBay, please do just give me a bell. Otherwise it'll have to sit in my stash for a long time. But I'm very glad that all of the fabric and threads are still present. And then we have Coastal View. I picked this one up in a going out of business sale at a Swedish online cross-stitch store. This is another gorgeous kit. This one's by Sam Park and it's 2010. And this is the Chinese version of the kit. Here are all the colours. And it's on 18 count, I believe. It sort of reminds me of Italy, I think. Then we have Precious in His Sight. This is, I think, my only one of few religious kits that I've picked up. They tend to go for a little bit more. This ring light really hates this packaging. Hang on. No. So this is of Jesus and a little child playing with a butterfly in the flowers. This one is very rare. It's artwork by Greg Olsen. I'm not sure what year it's from, but it is the old threads. The front has been sun damaged. It was on display in a shop in Hungary for a long time. And my friend was very kind and brought it back with them when they came back from Hungary. I did pay them for it, obviously, of course, but we have an inside joke that we call it a cross-eyed because that's what Google Translate was translating all of the shops to when I was looking for like how much it would cost and if it was worth buying and things. But like I said, this is sun damaged. The actual design is much less orange than this is appearing. Actually, it looks much better in the screen than it does in the cover photo again. So you're actually getting much closer to true colours than I am. I'm getting a much more orange version in real life. Alright, so this next one is Jewels of the Orient. This is stitched on 18 count ivory Aida and is a design by James Hemsworth and it's of 2 geishas with some wisteria. It's from 1999 and it's the very old American version, so it's in here. I think I will be swapping out the Aida for even weave, and the threads were sorted before I got the kit by whoever owned it previously. Then we have English Castle. This is a lovely design with a beautiful lake reflecting the castle and above it and the beautiful red and green trees. And I love lily pads. The river where I walk, which you guys have seen because I've shared it in the vlog, has lily pads and they always make me so happy to see them. Here are all of the colours. And this was designed by Hadley House Limiting, Charles White, 2015. Then we have Snow Leopard, which was designed by Colin Bogle. And it's this lovely leopard peering at you from the snow with this beautiful blue background. This is stitched on 14 count ivory Aida with all these beautiful blues. Then we have a gift from one of my lovely friends, and this is Tulip Trio, designed by Igor Levashov. And it's just these beautiful pink tulips blooming. And here are all those pinks in the organiser. Then we have Fall Fairy by Ruth Sanderson. This is also available, I believe, as a Heaven and Earth Designs. And look, Chris, there's a yellow swallowtail. And she's bringing in the autumn leaves falling to the ground with these mushrooms. And that beautiful trail of magic. This kit comes with beads and a beautiful assortment of colours. And it's stitched on 16 count grey Ada. Then we have one of my favourite designs. I mean, they're all my favourite, but this is Winter's Lace. As I said at the beginning, I stitch a lot of animals, I stitch a lot of sea scenes, and this one in particular is one of my favourites. It's just gorgeous. I used to love wolves as a child, and I still do as an adult. I used to love wolves as a child, and I still do as an adult. Then we have Captivating Felines by Henrietta and Knick. This is stitched on 14 count black Ada and involves some gold metallic thread. And I bought this on a whim. I really liked it, and so I bought it. That may not have been wise, but it's what I did. I really like the fabrics behind them. I really like that this kitten's just off on a whim, and I really like that these two are enjoying having their portrait taken. So. Alright, this is Garden Fan. This is a lovely design of a geisha garden in Japan with lots of hummingbirds and butterflies in the middle, peacocks here and here, swans, just absolutely gorgeous, and I was so excited to buy this one. The artwork is by T.C. Chu, and the threads have indeed been messed with, not by me, but by the original owner. Stitched on 18 count ivory Ada. Then we have White Roses, which is definitely the companion piece to the earlier 3 tulips, also by Igor Levoshov. And again, stitched on 14 count ivory Ada. You can just see the threads here. Then we have a crowd favourite, which now you can buy from Lucas, and that is Guardian of the Sea. And this is a beautiful lighthouse. As you may know, I've stitched a lighthouse from Dimensions called Petites, Beacon at Daybreak, and I have a very strong affinity to waves and the sea, so I really find them calming. They calm my soul, and they speak truth to my soul, I guess, if we want to get all mystical about it. I just find them very calming, and yeah, any day I get to be by the sea. But this is by Nikki Boney, and these other colours, and it's stitched on 14 count Ada, and honestly this might be my next one. I can't be trusted though. Don't trust what I say, trust what I do. Then we have Mary's Bouquet, beautiful pink flowers on a backdrop of blue half-cross stitches in a tumbler. Dimensions are very, very well known for doing sort of water effects really well, so it surprises me that they didn't go for that this time. And this is by Robin Anderson, and it's stitched on 16 count light blue Ada with all those beautiful purples and pinks. Then we have 12 Days of Christmas. I have high hopes of stitching this one day. I bought this because I wasn't completely in love with the cover photo, but I bought it because I saw it stitched on YouTube by Artful Stitchery, and she just made it look so gorgeous, so I just had to have it. And it's designed by Debbie DeWitt, and it's just all of the days of the song, Drummer Boys, 5 golden rings, and here are the colours. It doesn't look to be that many threads, but I know from watching Artful Stitchery stitch it that there are quite a few, and this is stitched on 14 count natural Ada. So this next one was one of my eBay disasters. This is Cherry Hill Lane, I believe. Cherry Blossom Garden, maybe. It's this beautiful cherry tree over a river, and it's a companion piece to another gold collection. And it's just beautiful. It's by Lena Liu, I believe. And you can see that it has a little warning, beware stinks, and that's because this piece, which I bought on eBay, actually smelt of cat pee. And I couldn't get it out of the chart. I got it out of the threads through multiple baths with various chemicals. And Cherry Blossom Creek it's called, look at that. Past Cat is amazing. So I've got all of the colours in floss packs, which is sometimes how I prefer to have my floss. And I managed to get the chart as a PDF from Simplicity. Here is an oldie but a goodie. This is Aurora Cabin, and it's this beautiful northern lights over a cabin with so much blending filament, so many blue threads, and it's stitched on 16 count Dove Grey Ada. It's by Kim Norlian, the artwork, and my partner and I have often talked about going to see the Northern Lights together. So hopefully that's something we can do this year now travel restrictions have eased, and then maybe I'll start this kit. Speaking of eBay, these next two are both in food baggies because that's how they were sold to me by someone who had moved house. But everything is there, the threads and the fabric and the ink charts are all in these food baggies. This is All Is Calm, I believe. And this one is My Lady's Chateau. And these are both kits that I've always wanted to stitch. So no, this isn't All Is Calm. Which one is this one? Cabin Fever. This one is Cabin Fever. It's got this beautiful two deer here in the corner. And this one is My Lady's Chateau. So everything should be there, theoretically. I actually think this is very clever if you're going to stitch them in your moving house and you don't care about keeping the original packaging. This really reduces the amount of size that each kit takes up. But I don't want to do this to my kits. Then we have one of my personal favourites. This is Roadster Santa. I went a bit mad trying to buy this. It became a unicorn very quickly because I just found it delightful. I love the expression on the snowmen's faces. But this is, as I said, Roadster Santa, and it's stitched by Peggy Abrams. Here are all the colours. Not so many, you see? And the beads. And it's stitched on 18 count white Ada. I'm so lucky to have this in my collection. I really had to work hard for it, but even so, I was very lucky. Then we have Elegant Palm. This is a gold nugget, but I do count this as part of the gold collection. I've not stitched a gold nugget, so I can't tell you if they're easier or harder than the gold collection. They're obviously a lot smaller. But I'm including them in this collection because they're the same size, the packaging, so they get stored together. Then we have Equine Trio, which is these three beautiful different coloured horses with a sort of stable or church in the background and some trees. This looks like it might be a bit of a hard stitch, but it's very beautiful. And the artwork is by Susan von Borstel. And here are all the threads. Here is another gold nugget, and this one is Oriental Touch by Lena. And it's these two doves with a geisha. Then we have another of my favourites, English Valley Cottage by James Lee. This is stitched on 14 count Ada, and it really reminds me of home. This and Valley of the River Beck both really remind me of home. Here's some chickens and swans and cows. And here is the untouched thread box. Then we have another extraordinary find. We have Wreath of Roses in the original packaging. And this is actually stitched on 28 teak dyed Monaco. And this is another Lena. Again, I'm very lucky to have this one in my collection. Then we have Midnight Dance, which is this beautiful orange city background with two black silhouettes of dancers. I have gone off this since I bought it because, as you know, I'm allergic to orange. But this is by Dennis Nolette, and here are all the colours. And as you can see, it's stitched on 18 count beige, but look how much black there is to stitch there, so that might have something to do with why I've gone off it. Then we have the Leopard Hunts Alone, speaking of kits that have been changed to be more suitable. So I'm going to insert a picture of what this will look like. Hopefully, if I remember. And here is Paris Market. I love this one for all of the flowers. This one isn't particularly rare, but it's very beautiful. And this is by Sam Park. And it's stitched on 18 count ivory Ada. God, the green. That's a lot of green. So I guess it's for the tree and the flower leaves. Going back to my winter animal theme, we have Woodland Winter by Persis Clayton Wares. This is for 5 deers. Coming through the winter, and one of my friends is stitching this currently. All those beautiful lilacs. This is also stitched on 18 count. And it has a sister piece, Summer's End, which is a very autumnal piece with another 5 deers, probably the same 5, kind of going through the same wood, I think, with the same broken down trees. But this one is also on 18 count and also by Persis Clayton Ware. A lot more summery, autumny, bright colours, this one. Speaking of kits that remind me of home, here is Memory Lane. I say home, I mean my hometown, the one I was born in. And back to the lighthouses, we have this Rocky Point. I believe this one's still in print as well. And again, you see the waves, the green peaking there in the crest. Just lovely. Another animal kit is White Lightning. This one is by John Seary Lester and is stitched on 14 count. Beige Ada. I love that this water is coming out of the border. It really brings the piece alive, and the tiger as well. Back to winter time, we have this Bleedful Holiday Village, again by Nikki Bomey. And this has been stitched on YouTube. That was why I bought this one. And it has sequins for the tree, which really make it shimmer. And we have Winter Cabin, another wintry deer scene, this time with a doe and a baby in a cardinal. And I believe Calico Whimsy is currently stitching this. It's just lovely, all those oranges, where the stream is reflecting the sky. Here is Balloon Glow. This is also by Nikki Bomey, and it's another one that Calico is currently stitching on. It's stitched on 18 count ivory Ada. Alright then. The next one is another Lena Leo, and this is Asian Blossoms. It's a gold nugget, so it's much smaller. And it's on 18 count ivory Ada. Following on to the theme of butterflies, we have Brilliant Butterfly Celebration. And this is stitched on 14 count ivory Ada. Then we have Silent Flight. This is an eagle flying across an orange sky with some mountains in the background. And it's by R.W. Hedge. And it has 3 colour cards, so lots of colour changes for what looks to be a very orange piece. And this is stitched on 18 count Ada as well. Then we have Alan Malay's Gracious Era, which I'm sure a lot of people have seen and a lot of people have stitched. And this is stitched on 16 count. Then we have Dragonfly Scroll, and this uses both blending filament and metallic thread. To be honest, I didn't know there was a difference. And I'm really hoping that these tassels are tassels, so it teaches you how to make tassels. This is by Brian Jackins and is stitched on 18 count ivory Aida. Then we have another Alan Millay. This is Winter Impressions. And this is stitched on Dove Grey Aida, 16 count, which you wouldn't think looking at it again. It's very white. This is A Row of Love by Jean Monty. It's stitched on 14 count white Aida, and I bought this to stitch for a relative who collects teddy bears. Then we have Victorian Elegance by Sue Halstenberg, and I believe Floss from a couple of dabblers actually finished this. It looks gorgeous. This is stitched on 28 count mushroom fabric and comes with some threads, some beads and some ribbons. Then we have Ballerina Dreams by Sandra Cook. Also on 18 count. Then In Her Garden, also by Sandra Cook. Then A Portrait of Elegance by Sir John Lavery. We seem to be on a ladies' kit here. This is also stitched on 28 count. And A Summer Straw by James Himsworth. It's just a gorgeous piece. Really gorgeous. Alright, going off the ladies, we have Magnificent Wizard by Don Weitz. Lots of purples and navy blues. It's gorgeous. We have Christmas Village Ornaments. Trying to make sure you don't have too much of a glare. And this is stitched on 18 count ivory Aida. And Royal Peacock. This is a very bright coloured kit. I really like it. By Punch Studio. And this is stitched on 14 count. Then we have The Guardian, which is these two wolves in the woods, by Colin Bogle, stitched on 18 count ivory Aida. And then Exquisite Hummingbird, another gold nugget. I think this one might also be by Lena. It doesn't say. It's stitched on 18 count ivory Aida. Then Parrot Tulips, which is by Fran de Guiage-Como and stitched on 18 counts. Another geisha by James Himsworth. This is Elegance of the Orient. And this is stitched on 18 count. And I have its sister piece, or brother piece in this case, The Mighty Samurai, also by James Himsworth. They will look very nice together. And I have Horses by a Stream by Persis Clayton Wears. As I said, I love stitching horses. And this is also stitched on 18 count. Majestic Peacock. I love this one. I'm going to be stitching this one on even weave though. It's by Lena and it's so soft and beautiful. And here are the colours. It's on 14 count ivory Aida. Then we have another religious one. This is Holy Night Stocking by Richard Jesse Watson. This is also available as a petite. I think I might have the petite. This is Maggie the Messmaker by Charles Wysocki. It's a lovely cat, enjoying a Singer sewing machine. Then we have Santa's sleigh. Santa surrounded by deer, rabbits, cardinals, and of course, presents. Here we go. This is by R.J. MacDonald. Oh, and we can't see anything, but it's 16 count of Grey Ada. Then we have Galloping Horses by Chris Cummings. This was a unicorn for a really long time. And it's now mine, stitched on 16 count of Ada. And another horse kit, Wave Runners by Ruo Lee. Really gorgeous piece. To be honest, I really want to stitch this one. Then we have Proud and Noble by James Hinsworth. As you can see, there's a buffalo in the sky. This is also an 18 count ivory Ada. Then another Aurora Borealis kit, Northern Night by Abraham Hunter. On 16 count, Grey Ada. Not dove grey, just grey. Then Eagle's Majesty, and I have it on good authority that Christine, Calico Whimsy, is going to finish this cross stitch this year. She's been working on it for a few years now. It's by Rosemary Millette. And there is blending filament all the way down this water. So if you want to see Chris stitching that, I highly recommend going over and checking out her channel. This was also a unicorn for a really long time. This is Regal Tiger by Linda Rossin. And I just love this piece. I really do. I love it. It's stitched on 14 count beige Ada. And it's just gorgeous. Something very special about this kit. And we have Flugel Retreat, which I think I've said before, by Vale Oxley. Really reminds me of home, of my hometown. So my hometown is a place called Harrogate in North Yorkshire. And we have these beautiful gardens in the centre of town. But then outside the gardens we just have buildings like a normal city, or it's a town, and they do actually have a promenade exactly like this one. So, yes. This kit here is a very detailed one. It's a treasured time. And as you can see, there's little bunny rabbits, there's ribbons on the back of dresses. There's this back stitching to show where the child is skating. There are wreaths on the houses. Like, this one's going to take a while, but it's very popular and it's very detailed. And we have Wintry Eve by Randy Van Beek. This one is very rare, I believe. It's from 1997. And again, it's my two snowmen from the Roadster. And there's very different kitty litter, very different vibe. And this is by Brauds. I've heard from the Artful Stitcher that all of this is 5 strands, so you've got to have strong fingers when you approach this one. But so cute. Oops, I didn't show you the back, sorry. It's on 18 count ivory Ada. Then we have Winter Lace by D.R. Laird. This one I don't actually have. Well, clearly I have it. But the person who sold it said they think it has all the threads, but they're not sure, as they might have started it and it doesn't have the fabric, so I'm not too convinced. But the reason I fell in love with this kit is this little cute papa going straight for the river. That's what they do. And the same seller was selling this by James Hinsworth. This is Southern Social, and they said all the threads were definitely here, but no fabric again, so they'd taken the fabric. I don't actually like it when I'm buying kits on eBay and they've sorted the threads for me. I know that they're sorting it for themselves and they're going to start it, but I worry that they've made a mistake that I wouldn't have made if I was sorting the threads. Or at least if I would have made it, that at least I was the one making it, you know. But still, I love this kit, so. Excuse me, I'm making a mess over here. Then we have Winter's Hush, it's a very popular kit. It's just a lovely, quiet scene with 2 dogs playing and a cat here. This is stitched on 16 count grey Ada. Then Peonies and Delphiniums we have here by Igor Levashov again. He's a lovely floral painter that Dimensions love to use. Very soft arches in the background. And this is stitched on 18 count white Ada. And then we have a collapse of all the kits. No, don't do that. No. Then we have Celestial Angel by Lane Gordon. This one comes with sequins in the shape of stars. Their angels are very often only 2 strands with blends, but only 2 strands, full cross, very few half stitches. I'm currently working on an angel, which I'll show you later. And then Summer Cottage by Fred Swan. Red buildings are very popular here in Sweden, very usual. So I'd really like to stitch this. And this is stitched on 14 count ivory Ada. Continuing on with the flower theme, we have Peonies and Canterbury Bells. Gorgeous pink flowers. And this is stitched on 18 count. Now for something different, we have Scarlet Wizard by Miles Pinckney. All those beautiful candles and that beautiful dragon. It has been opened and the threads were sorted by the owner. It's stitched on 18 count black Ada, which is in there. And I can't wait to stitch this either, it's going to be gorgeous. Then we have Leopard in Repose by Colin Bogle again. Those gorgeous green eyes. This one is, I've heard, not very easy at all. But it is stitched on 14 count beige Ada. Oh, sorry, natural Ada. I don't know what the difference is. Then we have the companion piece to that smelly kit from earlier, Japanese Garden by Sun Kim. It was by Sun Kim. And actually, if you like this artwork but you prefer the full coverage, no backstitch style, Sun Kim has licensed their artwork to Artisy, and they have another piece that's very similar to this with a horse and wagon coming down. So, highly recommend checking it out. But this is stitched on 16 count, and as you can see, it was opened already. Now we're back to the topic of eBay disasters, and this is Twilight Bridge by Richard Burns. This is one of the first few kits I bought. The first one I bought was Beacon at Daybreak, and that one had been started and was listed as brand new. This one was listed without the fabric, and all the threads smelt really bad, so I washed all the threads and popped them back on the organiser, and then I bought fabric, but I messaged the seller because I thought it was a bit not right. And they very happily refunded me the price of the fabric, which I thought was so nice. And I felt awful for messaging them because would have been fine if they hadn't. I just wanted to let them know. But yeah, there you go. There are nice people in this world. Then we have Charming Waterway. This was a gift from a very close friend of mine who I couldn't find it in Europe. So this is by Victor Schweiko, and it's on 16 count grey Ada. Isn't it lovely? Then we have Oriental Splendor by Lena Liu. And I love this piece. I really do. But you can't see it. It's 18 count hand cotton Ada. Then this is a piece I actually bought new. I've only bought a couple of them new. This is one of them. This is Cozy Cove by Charles Wysocki. And I just love this scene. I love the bike, the people, the canoes, the dog, the horse, the boats, the lighthouse. You know me, and oceans. And this is stitched on 18 count ivory Ada. And it just really is a very cosy cove. And we have Picnic on the Lawn by James Hemsworth. Again, there's water. There's always water where I'm involved. And Victorians. And I love this big house in the background. It really reminds me of Emma, actually, if you've read Emma by Jane Austen. One of the major dramas in the scene, or seen the film, is when they're having a picnic and Emma is a bit rude to someone. Not there, Cat. Then we have Gift of the Eagle Feather by Craig Tennant, another Native American scene, with another orange sky and another eagle. So you can tell Dimensions really has a theme when it comes to Native Americans. I'd love to see them doing normal things like crafting moccasins, but we get mystical things instead. Then we have The Snow Leopard by June Payne Hart. And I almost missed out on the other snow leopard I showed you earlier, because I thought I already owned it because I owned a snow leopard, but it's a completely different piece. This was originally stitched on 28 count tea-dyed Monaco, but the original owner stole the fabric for some other purpose, or took the fabric, didn't steal it, it belonged to them. And I knew that when I bought the kit. This is one of the other ones I've bought new, Wind Moon Fairy. This is by Nene Thomas, who does full coverage of her own designs. She used to do full coverage with Heaven and Earth Designs, and I have 2 of her pieces from Heaven and Earth Designs before she moved on to charting her own and then to doing deals with Dimensions. Look at that little kitty. Look at the butterfly. Look at the flowers. Look at the weird expression on her face. And this is stitched on 16 count. And you can see here that the newer designs have this design group band on the bottom. Then we have Winter Retreat by Larry Fanning, which is some geese wandering away from the winter. And this is stitched on 18 count beige cotton. The organisers look shorter than usual, but I think it's just because they've drifted underneath. I don't think this is less thread than normal, unfortunately. But again, water, you see, there is a theme, blue and water. Speaking of water, we have Hidden Spirits. And as you can see, this is meant to go with Sacred Connection and Gift of the Eagle Feather, both of which I do own. And this is on 18 count as well. Then we have Woman with Bouquet by Lee Boggle again. And this was sold to me by the most wonderful lady. I bought it and then I messaged her and I said, "It's been opened. I'm just letting you know," because it was listed as not opened. Can you just double check that everything's in there? Because this was a couple of weeks after I had the debacle with the fabric on the other piece. And her husband replied actually, and he said, "I'm in the doghouse because I didn't check if it was opened or not. I have checked and everything's there, and my lady friend has checked too, and everything is good. And so we're sending it off," or something like that. "We're sending it off now." It was very funny. I didn't want a discount or anything. I think they might have given me £1 back. But I just wanted to make sure I had the fabric. But anyway, this is the piece. It's lovely. Then we have My Little Sunshine by Jean Monty. My dad had a friend called Monty. First name, I think. And here are all the threads, and this is stitched on 18 count Ivory Ada. And I'm sure everyone's heard that the door is a lot of brown to stitch. And then we have Fairy Tale by Ruth Sanderson again. And this one is a woman on a horse being followed by fairies and a rabbit. A just lovely piece, just a lovely, gorgeous fairy tale piece. And this one is stitched on 18 count, of course. Most of them are. Very few are stitched on 14 or 16, I think. So that is all of my gold collection here in Sweden. I do have some still in storage in the UK from before I moved, and hopefully I will be able to get those over to me at some point to show you. But which one of this, if you're still here, if you've managed to make it all the way through, which one of my collection would you start next? Or which one of my collection are you most excited for me to start? I will now show you some of my whips, my works in progress, in the Dimensions Gold collection patterns, just so that you kind of know my full collection here in Sweden. And so I will pop these away. There are a lot of them. Probably not going to put them in their storage just yet, but just in a cardboard box by the side of the desk, and go and grab my whips to show you what I'm currently working on from the gold collection. Okay, so from oldest to newest, First we have African lions, which will look like this when it's finished. And I'm quite far with this one. I'm not halfway yet, I'm about 25% of the way through. And this is what it looks like so far. I did all of this in April when I started it, and then all of this when I last picked it up in, maybe that was also in April. I love this piece, I really do. I need to pick it up again soon, I think. Then we have Innocent Guardian. Now I do have to say that I didn't start this piece. I bought this piece as a whip. This is designed by James Hemsworth. And this is how far I am so far with it. So when I got it, this part had been finished up to the end of the purple, and I think some of the green was there, but I added this red and all of this fawn and the sleeves as well, and I'm very pleased with how it's turning out. This one is very rare, that's why I bought it started. I wouldn't do that again, I don't think. I'm very particular with how I like my backs, and I had to finish her through a few threads for this lady or man who'd sold it to me. Then we have this delightful piece, Mare and Foal, which was my birthday start this year, if you remember. It's by Cummings. And I'm not very far with this one. I've just started the top here. Calico and Misty and Stitches over on Instagram started at the same time as me. And they're like way over here in the grass. So, got some catching up to do. And finally, we have The Finery of Nature by Pamela Cillin Palmer. And this piece is really gorgeous. And this is the third piece I bought new. And this I started last month, and this is how far I am. So I've stitched all of the bottom half of the top left corner. And that's it. That's all of my works in progress as well. I hope you've really enjoyed this stash dive into my collection. I know I have enjoyed seeing all of my pretties again, and I do actually do this reasonably often in much smaller doses. When I'm having a bad day, I go and find my stash and have a little look-see through it. So it's been really nice to do that with you guys. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, please give me a like. If you've made it this far, I don't know, you get a brownie point, I guess. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. May all your unicorns turn up soon.